listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
She'll cause a scene. 4 cars deep, we'll come through on a lane night. Chicken spot, wings and fries, we call that a day night. Lights on, sold out, I don't have no stage fright. Knew that I was built for this forever, ever, ever.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price.
We ride bands, 10 times 10, all my friends, this for real.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to this show. It's called Conscious Fever. Of course, as always, here on ICE Entertainment Television and Conscious Fever Radio. I want to say thank you for joining me tonight. I hope I don't bore you tonight, but I'm taking questions tonight. Many of you know by now that I am a candidate for the second most powerful office in the city of Louisville. Yes, I am running for one of the district attorney slots here in Breonna Taylor's hometown. And I want y'all to be a part of this campaign because this is really the people's campaign. I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to do this because just so I'm clear and just so everybody understands it, because I don't really like what's going on in the city. The homicide rate is up. Law and order, it seems to be spinning out of control. Among a lot of other things. And most of all, I am the most qualified candidate to be in this office at this time. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm running against one of my opponents is the man that fired me. Don't y'all think that's interesting? Don't y'all think that's a little dramatic? Some say they thought it was dramatic, but I'm serious about this because I think that we can affect a change in this city. And best of luck and well wishes. Thank you so much. Who was that? I'm gonna put your comments up here. I'm going to try to put your comments up here anyway. I did this. I tried to do this the last time, and actually I got a little shut out. And so I don't know if I'm going to get shut out this time. Let's see, all comments. Let's see if we can make the comments. For some reason, something is going on with my comments, and I wish I could do them because I really want your comments to show when you post them. Maybe this thing is taking me to another site. But in any case, I appreciate all of your comments. I'm going to read some of them. This is so awesome. Glad to see you are running for office. Thank you, Tammy. I'm glad that I am running for office. primarily because the people that we have in office now are not doing anything. I mean, I'm going to try to refrain from using profanity, but basically they're not doing anything. There's just it's really mind-boggling, and it's mind-boggling for me in a number of ways. A long way from 28th Street, Austin. Yeah, best of luck and well wishes, Price, T. Lynn Calmer, Hingston. Thank you, Miss Hingston. Listen, I want to remind you, if you see down here, we've got some stuff together now. You can go to my website. My website is www.carlprice4 County Attorney, not the number 4, but FOR countyattorney.com. And when you go there, you can actually donate. And I do want you to donate tonight. If you're not watching any of the basketball games and really intrigued by them, some of our teams are not playing, so we really can't get intrigued by them. But seriously, go to my website, www.carlprice4countyattorney.com, and make a donation. We need your help because we need to change the leadership in this city. I keep referring to this city as, awesome website, I am. Thank you, Tammy. I keep referring to this city as Breonna Taylor City because I don't want us to ever forget what happened to Breonna Taylor. And on that note, I want to remind you all that this show is going to do a special on Breonna Taylor, and we're going to talk about something about the Breonna Taylor case that nobody else has talked about. And I'm going to give you my perspective from a prosecutor of 25 years, and I'm going to tell you why I believe that somebody should have been prosecuted for murder. And once you find out this information, I want to let it out of the bag, but I can't let it out of the bag because it's going to be a big documentary, maybe Emmy-worthy. But in any case, I can't let it out of the bag because I want you all to pay attention to it. It's not going to be very long, but it's going to be a really interesting documentary. We're going to tell you where the casings fell from the bullets and from what bullet, and we're going to talk about that bullet that actually killed Breonna Taylor. And I know some of you all may be saying, well, we're tired of hearing about Breonna Taylor, but don't ever say that because we can never forget what happened. I was looking at some clips of Breonna Taylor earlier because we're still working on that documentary, and it's hard to forget. It's really hard to forget because something really ugly was going on there. And I think the prosecutors in this city particularly have a duty to get to the bottom of it and not be cowardly about it and run away from it. So I would like to say, I did something there. I would like to say that when I get into office, that's going to change, but my authority will be limited. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised because something needs to happen. But anyway, the website is www.carlprice4countyattorney.com. And I want to talk to you all tonight about my mission. I want to talk to you all about what the county attorney's office does in the event that you all don't know. Libby Mack, thank you so much. We will never grow tired of hearing this. We live this circumstance every day. Oh, my God, Tammy, that is so true. I swear to you all, there is something going on up here, and I've got to figure it out because I want to show these comments. I think it's sad that we can't show your comments. Overlays, let's see here. And I know I should have done this beforehand, but unfortunately, we didn't. But I can't see it. I have no idea why this is not showing my comments because it says no comments, and I think maybe because this is picking me up on a different page as opposed to the regular page. But in any case, keep bringing your comments. I will keep mentioning them. But I'm going to tell you what the county attorney does. The county attorney's office, first of all, is the second most powerful office, according to some, in this city. And I decided to run for it because I spent 25 years in that office, primarily prosecuting on the side of the on the criminal side, okay? And before I say too much, let me just say this, that I have gone to a number of Democratic clubs because I'm running as a Democrat. This is a Democratic primary, and people, y'all got to get out. I got to get out to vote because here's the way this thing works, right? There's a Democratic machine in this city. And if on May 17th, only 20% of the people come out and vote, or 15% of the people come out and vote, they're all going to be those old school Democrats who don't want change, right? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We need change. One of these banners talk about change. I know because I saw it. But we need change. We need change in this city. We need change in this city big time. And if you all can see there, I'm just asking you all to help me make this city safe again. But if only 20% of people come out to vote on May 17th, then it's going to be this Democratic machine, which that black folks are growing more and more frustrated with. Thank you, Karen. Good luck. I hope you win. Karen, I'm going to win with your vote. And the 100 people you tell also to vote for me, I'm going to win. So, but listen, the same Democratic machine is just going to put all of these old heads in. They go around and they give them coffee, bring them donuts and make them feel happy, and they vote for them. I think that's corruption, but that's a discussion for another day. But if we can get at least 60% of the people out to vote, the registered Democrats out to vote, we can do this in a heartbeat. So I want y'all to keep it in mind. But look at this banner. Help me make our city safe again. Because y'all know that I was a tough prosecutor. I pride myself on being a tough prosecutor. I think people who violate other people ought to go to jail and ought to be held accountable. People use accountable just to, make it sound softer than going to jail. But some of these people that are out here committing crimes need to go to jail. 25 years prosecuting criminal cases. I had a reputation of one of Kentucky's most effective prosecutors. We have to protect our kids from bus stop shootings, and there's a way we can do that from the courtroom, believe it or not. Fair and just accountability. I want to explain that to y'all. We have yet another chance to do it. Let's not waste it. And I mean that, y'all. We have yet another chance to do it. And the last thing we want to do is actually waste it, right? That's the last thing that we want to do is waste this opportunity. Because when you look back, when you take a step, and I hope y'all can appreciate the fact that I'm doing this in the courtroom tonight. I decided to come over here to the Hall of Justice, bring the crew. They don't like it because they got to carry these cameras back. But in any case, but it's time. It's time. I would tell y'all that we have never had a black county attorney in Jefferson County, Louisville, Kentucky. And I look at what is going on. Obviously, the people that are in these roles can't get it right, right? Look at what happened this week. We heard that the federal prosecutor's office, the U.S. Attorney's office, charged one of the police officers who initiated a pepper spray during the David McAtee shooting, right? For those not living in Louisville, can support with our deep, yes, yeah, y'all can support. If you don't live in, I'm gonna keep jumping around, y'all. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna jump around when I get in the county attorney's office because that's what you need to do to keep this city safe. But if you're not from Louisville, you can donate. Go to the website, www.carlpriceforcountyattorney.com. You can leave me $1. You can leave me $5. You can leave me $10. You can leave me $25. Prefer that you leave $2,000, but that's okay if you can't. You can leave $500. You can leave $100. But whatever you can leave, trust me, you won't regret it. We're going to use it to tell everybody in this city that I am the best candidate for the job, and I am the most qualified. I think some you may hear some people out there that may disagree with that, but I would tell you I am the most qualified. Hey, Greg Freeman, what's up? What's up down in Nashville? We need extra zeros. Yeah, but the limit is $2,000. So I wish I actually wish we could do some more zeros. But yeah, www.carlpriceforcountyattorney.com. Y'all may wonder why I decided to do this. I decided to do it because I think we can make a difference in this city. And I think we can partner with people to actually make a difference. But let me tell you what the county attorney's office does, because a lot of people just think it's just kind of some clerical job. It is actually a district attorney's office, right? So when you think about the Manhattan district attorney, the LA district attorney, the Chicago district attorney, it's the same thing. We prosecute criminal cases. We tried to keep the city safe. But unfortunately, the homicide rate in Louisville has been at its highest in 2021, and it looks like it may be in that same area in 2022. So obviously, the leaders that we have now are not getting it done, and probably can't get it done. Thank you, Nicole, for good luck. I don't need good luck. I need your vote. I don't need good luck. I need your vote. But good luck is okay too. But go to the website and donate. Don't be afraid of who sees you donate. I know that there are some candidates out there that are intimidating individuals not to give to other campaigns, and I'm going to turn them into the FBI because it's another form of corruption. That's just what I do. Y'all know I don't bite my tongue on anything that I say. Hold on, y'all. My back is hurt. I think in this courtroom, these chairs that they give us are a little bit different. Probably trying to silence my campaign. But in any case, let me tell you what the county attorney, the county attorney's office does. They prosecute and collect child support. And that's a discussion for a whole nother day. I'll give you my opinions on child support and what I would do if I were in that office. I tell you, one of the things that I would do, I would put qualified people over that office. Because right now, the person that's running that office is not qualified to run that office. It's probably a buddy of a buddy of a buddy. And it's a shame because the most qualified person in that office should be actually running that office. But it's a discussion for another day. Of course, there's a criminal division. And speaking of the criminal division, I spent 25 years as a prosecutor. 25 years. This should get me at least a $5 donation from some of y'all, right? 25 years as a prosecutor. Spouse abuse, firearms, narcotics, general criminal, even prosecuted dog cases, right? And I think that when we talk about what can you do in the courtroom to impact what is going on the street, trust me, you can. Because when people know first of all, one of the things that criminals do, criminals have a really, really good communication system. And I don't mean on jail calls when they get locked up. I mean, they have a really, really good communication system. So if you go to court and a particular prosecutor, every time you come to court, is putting you in jail, okay? That gets back to the street. And it may, I've seen it impact, the crime in this city. I saw it many, many years ago. But one person can't do it. It's a collective effort. And the county attorney that we have now, he just doesn't cooperate with anybody. He won't do anything to help anybody other than himself. And there's some time that we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about some of the people around him who went to the federal penitentiary, and we're still trying to figure out why he didn't go. Again, that's a discussion for another day. But the county attorney's office deals with delinquent tax also. So if you ever had a situation where you tried to get a break on your delinquent tax, maybe trying to get some fees waived and wouldn't happen, that's why you need a new county attorney. You need somebody who can understand the compassion of individuals who sometimes just can't pay their property taxes. And the problem with not paying your property taxes in this city is that there are agencies, there are companies out there from other cities that have set up shop and waiting for you not to pay your property tax. When you don't pay your property tax and it goes past April and you can't pay all those fees, they buy what is referred to as a delinquent tax bill. And that delinquent tax bill, they may buy for $300, but when you go to try to buy it back or get rid of it, it may be a $700 value now to them, which means that you have to pay that. Sometimes it's over $1,000 because they add attorney fees and all this thing, and it's ridiculous. And the county attorney, sometimes is a part of that process. But here's why I think the county attorney can do better for the citizens when it comes to delinquent tax. They can tell people about that. They can make it easier to recognize that these individuals are buying your tax bills. And the problem is it's in the poor communities, right? Because a lot of the individuals in our poor communities in the poorer communities in this city, they can't pay, even a $400 annual property tax, because a lot of them on a fixed income, and $400 this month is likely going to throw their budget completely out of whack. But if you're not compassionate as a county attorney about how to deal with it and how to let people know, they don't have to pay lawyers to know. I mean, public officials should tell them, you don't pay your delinquent tax, the sheriff is going to sell it on the doorstep of the courthouse, and somebody's going to try to foreclose on your house. You know, just because you didn't pay that tax bill on time, and it was $400, and now it has ballooned up to almost $2,000. So, you know, when we talk about compassion in the county attorney's office, it's not just about prosecuting criminal cases. It's about dealing with these delinquent tax issues because they all affect, for some reason, everybody west of 9th Street. The civil division. The civil division in the county attorney's office is very interesting. Because, by the way, the county attorney's office has like over 100 attorneys who are supervised by the county attorney. And again, completely qualified to do that because most of these men and women I know. Okay, but in the civil division, many of y'all did not know this, but the county attorney is a part of the process of negotiating the FOP contract. So we remember when many of you all thought that the FOP contract was just so ridiculous. Well, go look at the contract. One of the signatures on that contract that approved that for the city was the county attorney. And I promise you that when I become county attorney, I will pay close attention to what that contract means, not only to the police department, but also to the everyday man and woman out there that's consistently in contact with the police. And that's not just a criminal. That's anybody who calls the police, anybody who has to come out of the police department to get an accident report or a burglary report or a theft report. Or a pothole report, you know, in the wintertime. So that's one of the things. The other thing, the most important thing that they do, the county attorney defends the city. When agencies and departments are fighting against each other, the county attorney is there to help out. And when an agency in the city needs some legal assistance, the county attorney is the arm to do that. But one of the most important things is that the county attorney consistently, at least this county attorney has been defending the police misconduct cases. Now, let me tell you why that's important. Because the numbers are always important, right? Breonna Taylor's family got $12 million as a wrongful death settlement because of the fact that the city has some liability, lots of liability, in causing this woman to get killed. I'm going to make this comparison. In Minnesota, and I know that there were some differences in this case, but I'm going to say this and let you all be the judge. In Minnesota, actually I got a comment that showed up. I don't know why my other comments are not showing up, but I'm going to show that comment in just a second, Esoteric. But in Minnesota, believe it or not, in Minnesota, there was an officer involved shooting, and I didn't think this officer should be convicted, but you know, unfortunately, he was of color. A woman walks up to his car, bangs on the door, you know, because she apparently needed the police. And she banged on the door really, really loud. It startled this police officer. So he pulled his gun out and he started shooting at this person that he had no idea who it was. Come to find out, it was somebody who was running from a burglar, felt like somebody was burglarizing her house. So she sees a police car on the street. She runs up to the police car. But unfortunately, he shot her and he killed her. He was tried and convicted and was sent to 20 years in Minnesota. Right after his conviction, the city settled with her family for $20 million. Now, I say that because I don't understand why Breonna Taylor's family didn't get $20 million. And it's not like the city didn't have it. So I say that because we need to focus on these types of spaces where people are making decisions that impact us. Okay? I'm just saying that. I would have definitely made a comparison to that case. Now, let me just tell you this about that case in Minnesota. The victim in Minnesota was an Australian woman, so that means she was not of color. Blue eyes, blonde hair. And the only difference I saw in those two cases mainly was the fact that they were different colors. Now, the other interesting thing about it is that the police officer was convicted, but you have to factor in race as a component here. Because I think if somebody came banging on my car door and I've fallen asleep in my car and I've got a gun on my waist, I'm probably going to pull the trigger. I'm probably going to wildly pull the trigger. So in any case, but that's what happened. So I think that if we had a different county attorney, and my understanding, let me just say this, if we had a different county attorney, it may have been a different result, a different just result. Because I'm not sure if 12 million was enough for what we understand happened out there that morning. But what I understand was that others, like insurance carriers and others in the city, wanted to give more, but this county attorney, the sitting county attorney, was the holdback and wouldn't do it. So I want y'all to think about that, because sometimes people do that just because you're black and just don't think a jury's going to give you any money because you're black and you got killed. It makes a difference. It makes a big difference. The other part of this is that, you know, there are county attorneys, of course, in the criminal division with spouse abuse. We can talk all night about that, but I'm going to talk about that much, other than to tell you that when we started the spouse abuse unit in the county attorney's office and started prosecuting those cases, basically you can do anything to it. You could have done anything to a woman in this city in the late 90s, and the judges and the prosecutors were not really that aggressive about pursuing them. And then it got progressively better. I was one of those that went against the grain and was actually prosecuting everybody, the CEOs, the congressmen, and all of that, because it was wrong. It was just wrong. I think it's wrong to put your hands on a woman just because she's your woman. I've always thought that was wrong. I'll continue to think that's wrong until I die. Family court. Prosecutors are in family court. County attorney assigns prosecutors to family court also, and that's important because there's so many black folks that complain about the fact that the social workers are biased against them, right? So I'll be the first black man to hold that position, the county attorney here in Louisville. But the difference between me and anybody else is that I'm qualified. And again, look at my qualifications, the most qualified. www.carlprice.countyattorney.com. Go there right now. Make a donation to the campaign. We need you, and I promise you make a donation to the campaign, you're making a donation to yourself and your better future. I'm going to go to some comments here. I'm going to try this comment. Hopefully, okay. That's a Turk. Do you think the FOP will support you? Do you think you need their support? And have there ever been anyone who won that office without their support? Interesting question. Very, very interesting question. Do I believe that the FOP will support me? It's a good question, John. Very, very good question. And I'm going to answer it this way. I'm going to tell you this. Yes, I believe the FOP will support me. And the reason I say that is because for many, many years, police officers were asking me to run for the position. Carl, you need to run for judge. Carl, you need to run for this. Carl, you need to run for that. Because what I did, I listened to police officers. And I'm glad you asked that question, because I listened to police officers. Because there's a lot of people, what am I doing here? There's a lot of people, there's a lot of prosecutors who don't listen to police officers. And whatever side of the fence you're on, whether you like police officers or don't like police officers are important. And to me, if they're out there in the mud, I'm not willing to substitute my opinion for what they're doing out there in the mud, in the streets, okay, on the beat, right? And I think that's important. Only should we substitute as prosecutors our position for that of a police officer is when the investigation just doesn't support the position of the police officer, or when the investigation seems biased, or it seems racially biased or racially motivated or gender motivated or something like that. That's the only time. But I think they will support me because when they brought me a case, I took it to the court and I prosecuted it to no end. Right? And those are the police officers who actually did really, really good investigative work. So the way it works in this district attorney stuff, right? The police officer brings you their investigative file. They tell you this is what we have. And you basically, it's just like Law and Order. They say, you know, the police on the street, the prosecutors are the ones in the court, presenting the investigation of the police to the court to try to get a result. So yeah, I believe that they will support me only because if they compare me with the other two candidates, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. The other side of this is that, don't get this wrong. There are a lot of good police officers. There are more good police officers than there are bad police officers. I know some people find that hard to believe, but there are. I was so shocked when I was a prosecutor, only because I was biased to a certain extent about who out there wants to be a police officer. And I met 3 individuals who had theology degrees who were police officers. So it tells you something about this ideal that everybody has bad apples. There are bad apples, in the basket of apples of lawyers. There are bad apples in the basket of apples of police officers. So yes, to answer your question, yes, I believe they would support me. And I'm old and I can't remember everything. Do you think that you need their support? John, I would tell you this, man. I would just be honest with you and tell you this. I need everybody's support because, listen, it's not a us against them type of thing. And I'm not saying that that's what you're implying. What I'm saying is that we need everybody. I'm looking for everybody's support, right? Because when I can get everybody's support, then I know everybody can work together. And believe it or not, there is a way that the police and the community can work together and everybody gets it right. Listen, people are going to commit crimes, and that's going to trigger the police. That is something that is going to happen. There's nothing that any of us can do to control that, but make sure that that person gets held accountable for it. And every so often, you're going to have some little boy out there that's going to grow up watching police shows, and he's going to want to be a police. And then when he gets to the academy, some bad police officer is going to get a hold of him and say, hey, this is the way you really do this. This is how you can skirt around that, and he turns out to be a bad police officer. And I just think that good police officers hate bad police officers just like you do. And I'm not saying you, John. I'm just saying the people, us as citizens in general. Good police officers hate bad police officers. Many of you probably didn't know that. And have there ever been anyone who won that office without their support? I'm not sure. Yes. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, John. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if anybody's won that office without their support. But, I think it's important to have the FOP support because, basically you're working for the, not the Fraternal Order of Police, but you're working as a prosecutor, as a head DA, you're working for the interest of the investigative file of the police officer. You just have to know that your job is a filter between the police officer and the court. And if you get a bad investigator's file, you have to send it back out. I'll tell you what, one of the things that I would do, and I'm county attorney, one of the things that I would do, hands down, is that, because I'm really sensitive to this idea of body cameras. I do believe that in the Breonna Taylor case, that was a conscious decision not to turn the body cameras on, right? I don't know how anybody can run from the truth or even deny the truth. That's just me. We know in this society that we live in today with technology that videos have told us the whole story. Not half the story, not a part of the story, the whole damn story. And so to go onto a scene or to go out and patrol and not turn your body camera on, I just think that I think that's a terminable offense. I really do. I think a police officer ought to be termed. But I'll tell you what I would do. And maybe some of my police officer friends would not don't want to hear this, but I'll tell you what I'll do. If you're required to have your body camera on and you bring me an investigative file or someone in my office an investigative file, and what you're telling me would have been on the body camera, I'm probably going to tell you to take that investigative file somewhere else. If it's a felony, you can take it to the other office and see if they are directly indicted. But if you don't turn your body camera on, that's a presumption of mine that you're hiding something, right? The city of Louisville pays far too much money. I think it's almost $500,000 a year. It might be more now to staff police officers with body camera. And it's so important that they be worn, not just for Breonna Taylor, but in all of the cases. I defended a young man, and this young man was it was a very interesting case because, they chased him. This officer chased him. And I wanted to see if the officer did what the officer was supposed to do on one of the charges, like running from the police. There's certain things that police officers must do. And if he had his body camera on, I would have known for certain that he did it. And it helps the administration of justice. You know why? Because then a defense attorney will look at that and turn to the client and say, look, I mean, it's all on the camera. But when you don't have that, I mean, the defense attorneys are going to defend it anyway, but when you don't have that as a police officer, it just makes it a little bit difficult sometimes to keep the officer's credibility in place. And some officers, I'll tell you, man, you get to a scene as a police officer, and sometimes you just forget it. You just forget to turn your camera on. I get that. And that's excusable, and that's and to a certain extent, that's acceptable. The only problem is that you can't forget to turn it off when it's really important that it should be on. So anyway, esoteric. I would like the FOP support only because I believe that anybody who's running for office works for everybody. And if you pick and choose, whether you're going to lose support because you get support of one group versus another group, then you're not really going into that office for everybody. That's what a democracy is all about, right? You choose one person, and that one person is for everybody. And so I'm not sure if I'll ever be a fan of saying, put somebody in there that's pro-police only. Put somebody in there that hates the police only. No, I just think that it needs to be a middle ground. I think it needs to be somebody who understands that at the end of the day, it's all about administering justice and it's all about fairness in whichever angle it comes from, be it from the police officer or just from the head or lead prosecutor, him or herself. But one of the other things I want to do, I want to remind y'all that, you need to vote for me. I'm experienced, I'm qualified, and I'm tough on crime. Many people, a lot of my friends don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. Carl said he's a tough on crime. But in any case, I do want to remind you that we've got that donate button working, so you can go and drop your dollars or your $100. On there. Now, I'm going to let you all in on a little secret, and I hope you all are okay with this. But if you are one of those who want to donate $250, when you donate $250, you'll get a free T-shirt, right? You're going to get a free T-shirt, and it's going to look just like that. Vote Carl Price, Democrat County Attorney. The back of it is going to say, I support Carl Price, and it's going to have the website, www.carlprice.com. So, I want to talk about my mission before I get out of here. How much time do I have? I only have like about 15 minutes, but I want to talk about my mission because I think it's really important. Again, I wish I could put the website up there, but if you go to my page, you'll see that we have everything. But I want to talk about my mission. If you go to my website, there's a slot for my mission. I want to talk to y'all just about the mission. One of the things that I want to do, and this is 6 things here, and I want to cover them real quick, because I think this is important, because this is the core of my. I don't know why I'm burping. I haven't had anything to eat today, but this is the core of my campaign. I want to integrate. I wish I could pull that up. I should be able to. But anyway, integrate mental health professional community with the criminal justice system so we can catch mental illness early during one's criminal experience. I want y'all to know something. That is so important. I believe, having been a prosecutor for 25 years, that a high percentage of the individuals that are arrested and brought down to jail to be booked have an undiagnosed mental illness. And while we should not be a medical ward, we definitely should be a facility to make sure that we're not putting people in jail for a long time who shouldn't be there. Right? That's important. And so when people come into the courtroom and they say things that they're not supposed to say, or they're, they shouldn't be laughed at. They shouldn't be told that they're odd. The judge shouldn't tell the sheriff to get them out of there. Really, what should be happening is that they should be looked upon as somebody who might have an illness that has not been diagnosed. And so I want medical professionals to come as close to the jail as possible and evaluate these people as close as possibly can, because I think you can curve somebody. Listen, Veterans Court, drug court, those two courts, their basis is all mental health. So that's one of the things. The other mission I have is I want to retain experienced prosecutors to hold violators accountable in the maximum way. Some of the prosecutors that we deal with today, they don't do that. They can't do that. I just want y'all to know that. They absolutely can't do that because they don't have the experience. So we need to get more experience back in that prosecutor's office so everybody knows that that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, the most experienced prosecutors should be on the criminal side and not necessarily on the civil side, right? Because if you get less experience on the criminal side, then what's really happening is pretty much nothing when it comes to trying to make our city safe again. And the last one I'm going to talk about is I want to reduce the time from petition to admission from those loved ones who are filing the Casey's Law petitions. Now, let me tell y'all something about Casey's Law. I don't know if y'all know about it, but I'm going to tell y'all briefly what Casey's Law is. Casey's Law is a law that was created because a young man, these parents of a young man, knew that he had a drug problem and did everything they could to get him help. Even came down to the court system, tried to get court orders, and the unfortunate thing was that the court system told him, well, we can't do anything if he doesn't want to do it voluntarily. So Casey's, and so basically he eventually overdosed. And so the parents said, listen, we're going to do something about this. We're going to make sure that other parents don't go through this. And a lot of y'all have experienced that, right? You see somebody that's going down, that is falling down, and there is nothing that you can do about that person. You go everywhere, you call the police come and say, oh, we can't take him. You get an MIW, a mental inquest warrant on him. They let him out in 72 hours. And we've seen this a lot in our city over the years, for many, many years. But Casey's Law is a law that gives you the authority to go down, make a petition to the court, and ask the court to involuntarily make this person go into drug treatment. And that has saved lives. But the problem with the Casey's Law and the way it's administered today, even in the county attorney's office, from petition to admission, is far too long. And it's long enough for individuals to overdose. And some have. So that's one of the things that I just want to make sure, that we get done. So that's really, I'm going to talk about some other missions, when we get, when I, on another show, just FYI. You're not going to let me do that. Let me do it this way. So one of the things I just want to, listen, y'all, I'm running for this. I'm running for this. Vote for Carl Price for county attorney. May 17th, 2020. I'm going to do this probably as much as I can. I do want to show y'all a commercial if y'all haven't seen it. Then I'm going to comment on it, and y'all can post any comments you may have yourself. Check this out.
Violent 24 hours in the city.
Last night's triple shooting.
Shot several times.
With every shooting in Louisville,
shooting near a Louisville high school,
a family is changed
LMPD
forever.
officers responded to a shooting not far from Western High School around 11:30. There they found a teenage boy dead from a gunshot wound.
This ad was paid for by the committee to elect Carl Price, county attorney. And I hope y'all got a chance to see that. But basically at the very end it said, and a teen was found dead. And the reason I used that spot and the reason I used that sound bite is because I wanted to sink in that we've got a problem with losing people in our community. And I promise you that there is a way in the court system that people can get relief if our leaders are willing to do it and not cry about the budget while they're paying themselves almost 7 figures a year. Right, and that's not happening here, but it's a lot of money that they pay each other or that they pay themselves. But yeah, don't let me down on this one. I promise you, and I don't want to keep emphasizing that I'll be the first black county attorney, but I do want to emphasize that I'll be the first black one or white that has been disqualified to serve in that office. I want to be tough on criminals because I think criminals hurt people. But I also want to be fair to people in general. And that's one of the reasons why I did the expungement thing many years ago, was a part of that expungement process and making sure that people can expunge their records, because that's important. That's really important. May 17th, 2020, that's the day. It's the Democratic primary. It's time for a change. I've said that. So what does change look like? It looks like Carl Price, May 17th, 2022. We've got a lot to do, y'all. We've got a lot to do. But I know y'all are tired of looking at the same faces. I know y'all are tired of just the same old song and dance. They say the same thing. They don't do anything different. So you hear a lot of politicians this time. Let me tell you what they're going to say. One of the things that they're going to say is they're going to say, oh, I've done this and I've done that. And at the end of the day, your life ain't no safer. Your life ain't any better at all. So they can say all that they want, but at the end of the day, nothing has changed, right? You're still clutching your purse as you walk down the street, right? As you walk to your driveway, right? And there are ways to really combat that, and I'm not going to let it out of the bag, because every time I say something as a solution, then I hear one of my opponents say it. So to all the women, there are no women in my race. I say that because women, every time I go out and talk to women's group, they say, we're going to vote for women. I said, no, ain't no women in my race, right? So you can vote instead of voting for the woman, you can vote for somebody who is as qualified as a woman that you would have voted for. So anyway, listen, y'all, I got to get out of here. I got a game to watch as well, but I do want to remind y'all that this stuff is real. This stuff is real. I'm not joking about this. I want this office because I think we can make a change. Kentucky's tough prosecutor, Carl Price for district attorney, district county attorney. I say district and county because most people don't know what a county attorney is. They think it's some clerk. It's not a clerk. So anyway, I am Carl Price. This has been Conscious Fever, but I wanted to talk about my campaign tonight. And listen, if you've got a group that may have some questions, want to invite me in to talk. Big Ten 9 teams for deep for the NCAA tournament. Okay, Tammy. I knew you were going to say that. But in any case, if you have a group and you would like for me to come to the group, if you're in the Louisville area, you have a group and would like for me to come to the group, go to our website, carlpriceforcountyattorney.com. And for those who have already donated, thank you so much for donating. I promise you I will not let you down. There is so many reasons that somebody with my experience and my background needs to be in that space. And I'm going to talk to y'all about my background and who I am, where I came from, from rags to riches and all of that. I'm not at the richest part, but I'm still a little bit at the rags part. But I'll talk about that on some of my future broadcasts. But go donate and tell your friends to donate, even if it's just $5 or $10. What are you gonna do with $10 tomorrow? You're gonna buy lunch at a restaurant. You're going to buy lunch at a restaurant that you probably don't want to eat at anyway. It's only because your coworkers are going there. So you can just donate that $10 to my campaign, right? You can, and then for all you rich folks, y'all can give me $100, right? It's just going to the campaign. But I promise you that it's going to make a difference in this city. So listen, I'm Carl Price. This has been Conscious Fever. I'm going to send everybody out. I don't know what these texts are talking about. But anyway, I'm going to send everybody out. Ramona Beverly Courtney, thanks. Yeah, 28th Street Strong. Thank you, Tammy. But listen, we're going to do this again next week. But if you've got a group, if your church or anybody want to hear me talk about who I am and what I can do, reach out to my campaign. If you want to put a yard sign in your yard there's going to be an opportunity on the website for you to say that you would do that. You leave your address or email your address to us, and we'll get a yard sign out. I think I've decided to put my face on the yard sign. You know, if you want a magnet on the side of your car, we have those too. All of that stuff. Anyway, but tonight, all you have is Carl Price. And I've been Carl Price. This has been Conscious Fever as we talk about my campaign. And this is all I'm going to talk about moving forward unless something really juicy happens, like the NCAA tournament. I know there have been some upsets, and we can talk about that too. No Big Ten teams yet. Right, Tammy? I know. Anyway, I think it's fitting to end this show where the change is going to come. So I'll see you guys next week. Take care.
You are listening to Conscious Fever, hosted by Carl Price on 97thebeatfm.com.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes it is. Then I go to my brother. And I say, brother, help me please. But he wind up knocking back down on the knee. Oh, there been times that I thought I couldn't last for long. But now I think I'm able, Father, to carry on. And it's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it is. Yes it is. Yes it is.